Right, so hello and welcome to the Ross Dillon video, where today you join me in the gear corner, and today we're going to be looking at running Cat 6 line to improve my home network. So let's get on into the video where I'm going to be installing Cat 6. So first of all, you join me in the office. So you now join me downstairs where our main router is. This is where our phone line comes in. So I'm marking up here to put a faceplate in. So we've got the multi-tool ready. It's time to cut a hole in the wall. Let's go fishing. Now join me in the bathroom and I'll explain why. So after trying to fish the cable up from downstairs in the office, I then thought I would try in the upstairs bathroom, which is where this tunnel runs the whole length of the house. But again, I've hit a dead end. Let's see. Yeah, and I think that's because there's a beam that will run through for the window. So, time to try plan C, which is go down from the loft. So let's head up there now. So we're going to need some light. These doodads for trying to fish down the wall, and these because our loft isn't fully floored. So let's take all those up there. If you can't find me in the loft, I've fed a load of the wire. I'm going to see if I can find where it's come out yet. But if we look this way, I'm not sure you can see that, but there it is. Runs down there. I've probably run about 7 meters, so I'm hoping it's come out somewhere. So now, after many failed attempts, we have resolved to a slightly different method. We've got the wire everywhere I need it. So, starts down here where I'm going to terminate with a faceplate. That is then the wire running there, just to be able to then hopefully feed this Cat 6 cable shortly. It then runs up to the first floor, where it's run up where the waste pipe for the toilets run, and that runs up to here. And then from here we've sent this one just here up to the next floor. We have had to cut a small hole in the wall just there, and then that then runs up here along here, and it is actually up in the loft just up there. Now I won't be going back up there because I've spent all day crawling around. So after a lot of trial and error, we have finally got the pre-cable run the whole length. If you, like I, also live in the UK, this is the sort of quality of building you can sort of expect to find around here. When we were opening up this hole, this was all just stuffed in the wall, along with a random piece of 2x4, which will live in there until the house falls down. So yeah. So I'm back in the loft again. You'll have to excuse the poor lighting, but we've now ran Ethernet all the way up into the loft, and it took a lot longer than anticipated. But we've now pulled through all the sort of feeding cable. We've got this Cat 6 all the way up to the loft now. Next port of call is to make sure I've got plenty pulled through and ready to run it. If we can have a look, I've got to run it all the way down to the other side of the house and then down into my bedroom. So I'm going to crack on. I'm just finishing up in the loft for tonight, so I've used a couple of these cable tacks just to get the Ethernet cable tied all out the way. So we've got from all the way down that end, you can see it runs all the way along that edge there, comes all the way behind this stuff, all the way down to the far end with plenty of access ready to run it out that end wall tomorrow and down to where it will get terminated. So that's it for wow, for today at least. The project continues. So welcome back. The home project continues, and today I've ran a second Cat 6 cable which runs from our office to the living room. So I've done that this morning, so I'll show you where that runs in a moment. I've also then down here up in my room pulled that plate off, ready to run the Cat 6 from the loft down into here. That's going to be a later job because we've had ice and snow, so I'm waiting for that to clear to go up the ladder to run that outside. So I'm currently terminating the 2 Cat 6 ends in the office, and also then terminating the one in the living room as well. And I've bought a blanking plate for one of the holes we made yesterday this morning, so we don't have a gaping hole in the wall. So let's go terminate some Cat 6, get testing, and then head on up a ladder. So with the second Cat 6 cable, it comes out the office here, runs down here, follows this PVC all the way around, and just in there, which I'll be terminating on the other side. So back in the office, I've fitted this little plastic insert here to accommodate the faceplate. I've then got these two running in, which I've then labelled, like so. And then I've also marked on the back of the faceplate here which wiring standard I'm wiring the Cat 6 to. So I'm going to terminate these, and then as part of my wiring kit, this little tester came so I can at least test. This is the first time I've run Cat 6, so this will be a maiden voyage. So now I've got that terminated, and I've plugged it into a cable now running the tester. I'll go check the other end. You can now see I've now got those two terminated, and on the front I've then got those labelled, so I'm going to get this all sealed up. As they were before, you best start bracing. There we go, all mounted up and labelled. Did you think you could keep us out? Shut the gates, forget us now. Tides are changing. So I've got everything terminated downstairs now, so now I've got to sort out my upstairs connection. So I'm going to be taking up into the loft to drill a hole out the back wall, so I can then connect this to the wire using the duct tape, feed it out, and then down into this corner here where I've got one ready to connect up, and that's outside. Going up a ladder is going to get a little bit interesting. Can you hear the sound? So just to finish up here, I've added a couple of little cable tacks just here and here, just to keep the cable secure, and hopefully all of that will be now outside ready to run into my room. It's now actually the following week after last week. We sort of called it quits after we were struggling to get the wire out of the end wall in the loft. So we sort of left it until this weekend. So I've been up into the loft this morning and ran all the Ethernet out of the loft, so it's now hanging outside the house, ready to bring it down, get it through in the corner there. So I've now been up the ladder and got the wire fed through into my room, and I've then also, as you will now have just seen, got the keystone all terminated. So there it is, got the faceplate on, all sealed up. So final step is to test it using the Ethernet tester. Powered end plugged in downstairs and ready, so the last step is to plug this end in and see if it works. So here we go. You've got to check it runs 1 to 8. And there it is, that confirms that all 8 of the wires inside the Ethernet cable are talking to each other, which means I now have Cat 6 in my room, which has taken a lot more effort than I thought it would, but it's done and it's working. Right, so you've joined me back in the gear corner where now we've run our Cat 6 cables, and as you can tell from the video, it's actually a lot more difficult than it first appeared to run Cat 6 internally. The external runs are a lot easier because you just drill out and run it around the outside of your house. So hopefully from this video you can sort of gather whether you actually want to run Cat 6 yourself. I'd say if you haven't done it before, it's not actually that difficult, especially the terminating. That was actually the easiest part of the job. It's actually getting it through the house was the hardest part of this. Terminating, I've never terminated Cat 6 before, and all of the runs once plugged in all works pretty much straight away, other than a couple of little snags along the way. It actually wasn't that difficult, so if you're willing to get your hands dirty with some DIY, I would surely give it a go, because it's really not that expensive to actually buy the cable and the kit. It's just a lot of time. You've got to be willing to, well, it took me a weekend and a half for a gauge there. But in terms of wire connection, it is perfectly solid and it works really well. So I hope you've enjoyed this part of upgrading my home network. Join me in a couple of weeks where we'll be setting up some networking gear to actually build the home network to make good use of those Cat6 cables. So subscribe to see that in a couple of weeks, and for now, I'll catch you later.